What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Planet Zoo. As always, if you guys are enjoying this series, make sure you leave a like on the video. It'd be greatly appreciated. Today is the day where we're finally going to be constructing our very first large animal exhibit right over here. At least that's my plan anyways. But before we can get to all of that, I have a few things that I did off camera that I want to show you guys, and we have a few tiny little tweaks that need to be made. Starting off with these facilities that we constructed in that previous episode. They have sort of their own color scheme that you can mess around with, and I think we're going to keep the icon color as it is, but for the windows we're going to change those to white, and for the doors we're going to change those to black. Now all we have to do is just go around and make the same small changes to all of the other facilities. Shouldn't really take all that long, if I'm being honest. There we be. Alright, so we have our keeper hut over here. We also have our staff resting facility. Over here we have our vet, and then we have a quarantine on the backside. Now, I went ahead and placed down a couple of picnic tables with some nice looking umbrellas over here. Kind of a similar thing to what we have over in the front of the zoo. But realistically, I can't imagine too many guests are going to be sitting out here. If we take a look at the negative impact on guest heat map, you can see there's just a whole bunch of red intercepting those picnic tables. So they'll probably be left vacant most of the time. It's just a nice little decorative piece that probably should have been there from the start. Apart from that, I've added a few little plants here and there, a lot more tall grass, especially in the swampier area, and a lot more moss as well. We've even moved a couple more of those bald cypress trees, added a bit more moss to those. Things are looking really good. Things are looking really, really good. So I'm going to finish up with this building, and then we can start to get into things. I guess before we can really get rolling on our new project, there was one major oversight with this facility here, and that is the lack of donation bins. So I'm just going to go around real quick, and pretty much in between all of these benches, as long as it looks okay, I'm going to try to place down a donation bin. You know, right now, obviously, donations aren't really a thing for us. They don't really do anything because we currently have unlimited money, which is going to change, you guys. Definitely going to change. Oh, we have our first visitor as well. Look at that. All right, but enough messing around. We're going to pause things here, enter into edit mode for this whole thing so we can get rid of that solar panel. We're not going to be needing that, and it's just going to be taking up precious space for our very first exhibit. So the exhibit we're going to be doing is a small clawed otter, the Asian small clawed otter exhibit. I just feel like that's a really good basic sort of entry-level exhibit for us to construct here to get us going. So my idea in this little rectangular shape is on the right here, I want to have sort of an elevated viewing area. We've done those plenty of times before in the past. Then here in the center, that'll just be water for the most part. I'm going to try to decorate like the underwater just as much as the above water area. Right here we'll have a bunch of land for them. It's important that they have land and water. And then on the back side, this is where I'm kind of struggling. This is where my ideas just stopped flowing completely. So I'm thinking maybe we just take this path and sort of wrap it around into like a half moon type shape. I suppose we'll figure out what the back side of this place is going to look like at the very end of things. So we're going to start with paths. I know not everyone's favorite thing, but it is a necessary evil. So I'm just going to get a path going right here, I think. And then we'll try to elevate it as much as we can. But in here, under elevated length, I'm going to decrease that all the way down to 1.5 feet, roughly. So that way, if we start to go up here by pressing U, it's only going to go up a little ways. So I'm just going to do 2 just like that. We'll bring it back straight. Bring it all the way to the end over here. Kind of like that, and then at this point, no, not at that point, not yet. We're gonna turn it to the right, and now if we go down, here we go. This is the look I was going for. So this we're just gonna bring straight down, right about there. That's gonna connect up to that path, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side right over here. Now that we've got those stairs done, we can come over here and do the exact same thing. So we're just gonna go straight down and have it connect up to that existing path. Perfect. All right. I'd say that's looking pretty good. That's That's about exactly what I had envisioned. So looking pretty solid already. Right here, then, is going to be the water area for the most part. Right here, we'll have the land. So next, what we need to do is just go into barriers. I'm going to get not the one-way glass, probably just the regular glass. And we're going to go around and try to figure out a habitat barrier. Just to try to keep things as simple as possible, I'm quite literally just making a rectangle. Oh no, we can't put that close to the path, though. That is a slight problem. That is a slight issue, but I think I can remedy that pretty easily. If we just go into settings, I remember there being like some sort of thing that we could disable. Oh, never mind. Terrain collision is already disabled. So yeah, we're gonna have to just move this path entirely. And by move, I mean delete completely. So we're gonna bring this straight across. Wait, why can we still not build right here? There's no path. Maybe let things play for a second. No, this is absolutely not working. There we go. We've got our basic rectangle. Now all we have to do is reconstruct the path that we just deleted. Oh, it's not going to let us place it there, though. It's going to say obstructed. Not ideal. You guys, not ideal in the slightest. I think we're going to have to move it away just slightly. So as you can tell here, we have a significant gap between the viewing platform and our new barrier. So I'm going to try to get this just scooched in as close as I possibly can, and we'll kind of just go from there. Truthfully, like from a visual standpoint, this one doesn't really matter. We're likely going to be deleting this barrier anyways, but I've got it butted up against the viewing platform as close as I can get it for now. But what we need to do next is add some type of scenery object that's going to allow us to get rid of that barrier and still contain water, still hold water okay. To help us complete this, I finally bit the bullet and downloaded the Australia DLC for this game, literally just so I could download this custom, like, dry wall set. It's from Haribo? Haribo? No idea how to pronounce that, but I think it'll definitely come in handy when trying to complete something like this. And theoretically, it should hold water, I think. So I've gone ahead and dragged the gray wall over into position. We've got it roughly where it should be all the way around this thing, but now we're going to see what it actually looks like if we duplicate this and sort of just copy and paste it all around. So all I'm going to do is drag her on over until it looks like it wants to line up. Right about there looks pretty good. And we're just going to keep doing this all the way around here. Okay, well, we were looking good up until this point over here. So what I need to do is create a similar looking wall now just for these downslope sections. And then I think we'll be in business.
What follows is a brief construction montage. We hope you enjoyed this brief construction montage.
Well, we've already wasted a good chunk of time just going around and trying to tweak this wall ever so slightly so we could get a bit more of an angle there on the ends. But now we've got it wrapping around all the way around this bad boy. It's looking pretty nice, you guys. Very, very pleased with how that is turning out so far. So next, I need to make a decision. Do I want to do my own custom railing, or should we just leave it with the default path railing? I think we'll leave it default for now. If time allows, I may go through and do a little bit of custom railing up there. But for right now, I'd say we're looking pretty good. So now that we've got our rock wall complete, obviously it's still not going to hold water in its current configuration, so we may have to add something else in the corners to try to help keep the water contained, but I think we're ready to at least try to do a little terrain modification. We're going to use the push tool here just to bring the terrain down ever so slightly. I want to see just the bottom edge of that stone wall that we've placed down. So after lowering the terrain, we've run into our first issue with this build, and that is that our water couldn't possibly go up to like in the middle of this glass. That's like ideally where I would want it. And the main reason behind that is because we have nothing to prevent the water from just pouring out over the side of this fence here. So I think even though I spent a long time going around and just tweaking that wall ever so slightly, I think I need to tweak it a little bit more and sort of bring it out and around, if that makes any sense. Golly, dude, you try to solve one problem and it just leads you to another. So the issue I'm having now, while the wall looks a lot better, it definitely appears as though it could contain water, it's still not working. Partly because this path is getting in the way of it, and also the surrounding path is getting in the way of it as well. So I think what we're gonna have to do here is actually just delete this entire barrier, and we're just gonna try doing that again, but after we finish the paths and the water, of course.
Many, many minutes later.
All right, you guys, this time for sure, I swear, we're actually going to be able to complete this thing. So if we go into terrain again, we're going to choose water. I think, yes, there we go. Okay, that's like the perfect height. That's exactly what I was going for. This back barrier, the glass barrier in the back here, that's not going to be there for forever. It's just temporary, so I can start to figure out the water level. So now that we've got that done, if we go over here to our barrier on this side, click on edit, what we need to do now is basically just drop these poles down. So what that's going to do with water placement anyways, if I were to try to put that exact same water back in now that we've adjusted that barrier, it's not going to let us. It's going to say it's obstructed because the water level is like perfectly right at the exact same height as that barrier. So as long as we leave the water in there, we'll be good. Of course, we can't do that because we still have to finish this thing. So I just want to see if I can get this to work. So far, so good. Oh, also, I had to double up this wall just so I could hide that barrier just a little bit better. I might do a little bit of additional dress up just to the top side of it because it does look pretty god-awful. But we're doing all we can just to get this thing to work. So I think if I remember right, this is where I started to do the stairs. So I'm going to just try to finish this side. We're going to drop down another little staircase right here, connect that up to that same path. It's so weird because, like, I've built this thing, I don't even know, 4 or 5 times now. And no matter what, it's always down to this side and it doesn't work. Here I am thinking that the Asian small-clawed otter is going to be the best, easiest habitat for us to start with. And I haven't even been able to get past, like, the main construction of this thing. There we go, dude. Finally. Finally. That took so long. And unfortunately, we're going to have to just get rid of this whole thing yet again. Because if we want to, you know, adjust the terrain and the water placement inside of this thing, I mean, this is ugly. This doesn't look good at all. So if we want to address that whatsoever, we're going to have to once again get rid of the path. I just wanted to make sure that it was possible. So now that we know that, we're clear to move on to terrain modification. The very first thing I want to do here with the terrain is just start to bring out a little like peninsula looking deal. It's not going to be like perfectly symmetrical either. We're going to try to keep this a little sloppy, kind of on purpose once again. And now with our rough shape, I'm going to go around the bottom of this bad boy and just get it all smoothed out. This is going to be the start of the transition from water to land for these animals. It should end up looking pretty good, you guys. I don't know. I just don't know anymore. So let's see where that water level is at once again. All right. So now we're going to get rid of that. Just try to keep in mind sort of where that is. Actually, you know what's a better idea? Let's do that right there. We'll go into construction real quick. Let's just get like a flat roof or something. And we're just going to place that a little bit above that water level. Now, if we go back into terrain, get rid of that water, we have a nice reference. So now that we have like a little bit of terracing going on with the terrain, you know, we have some elevated areas and whatnot. I think we're gonna put our water back in just so we can see sort of what we're working with here. I definitely like it, but I think the bottom needs to come out a little bit more. That doesn't make any sense at all. I'm just gonna do it and show you guys. And now that I'm mostly content with our terrain and terrain painting, we need to come up with some sort of like 3-dimensional facade type structure for the very back of this exhibit. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do now, just using a couple of these rocks. Gonna kind of rotate them around, maybe make them a bit taller, more of a vertical structure. Okay, apologies to anyone that wanted to watch me place down each individual rock, but we got the 3D facade complete, and I almost forgot, you guys. I was so close to forgetting to add the habitat gate right here. That way our keeper can actually, you know, have a way to enter this new habitat. We still have to kind of button that up on the backside. I want to try to create a staircase climbing up the backside of that cliff, but we are looking very, very good here. So much so that I think we're actually ready to add back our water. So right about there ought to do it. I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that this has enough water for the otters and then enough land for the otters as well. Worst case, we'll just have to kind of extend maybe the 3D facade a little bit out further. That way they have the land that they're after. But for right now, we're looking good. Now that we've got the terrain done, we've got the terrain painting pretty well figured out, and then we've got the 3D facade completed, I think we're ready to start lowering down this barrier once again. And then we'll finally be able to place down our observation deck for the very last time. Hopefully. We'll see. And there we go. Ladies and gents, I can't even begin to explain just how good it feels to finally have everything in place. Hopefully that's the last of like the deleting and then replacing and deleting again and yada yada yada. I went ahead and made a little path just for our keeper. It may be temporary, but honestly, it doesn't really look all that bad. We could keep it. We could keep it. Very much up in the air. Things are just very much up in the air right now. So now with that done, we can actually start even thinking about putting animals in here. So if we click on the barrier and go to view animal market, we're gonna select our filter here, and we're just gonna buy ourselves 2 decent small clawed otters. So we're gonna get the 6.1-year-old bronze medal female right here. Immunity looking a little rough, but I think it'll be all right. And then we'll select that habitat for her. And now we've got to get ourselves a male. So we'll get another 6.1-year-old. Stats are not looking too good for this one. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, great. I clicked play for like 2 seconds, and all of the sudden, everything just went crazy. What the heck happened? Oh. Oh, wait, what? Empty? Are you kidding me, dude? What happened? What happened to our animals in here, dog? That's not good. Well, I have no idea why it happened or I guess what caused it to happen, but I'm just gonna go through and move all of our animals back to where they came from. That is super, super strange. Oh, dude, I was so concerned about our little tiny exhibit species over there. I completely missed our keeper and our, looks like our vet. Actually, just chucked these 2 in here. They are so stinking cute, dude. Thankfully, they love the water. Already, that's great news for us. Let's go ahead and click on one of these rascals. This is the male. Let's just go through and make sure they have exactly what they need. Oh, they need some hard shelter. All right, well, we can probably do that. That's not a huge deal. It looks like they need a little bit deeper water, which is unfortunate because there's just no way I'm getting rid of this water again, you guys. No shot. Then I'm going to have to rebuild the entire observation deck. It's just not worth it. But right now, for 2 of these otters, we're looking good. We're looking good. They need a bit more soil and a bit less sand. Pretty easy fix. I think that this now should be at least a little bit more in line with what the animal's actually expecting to see in their habitat. Oh, and this dude's down here just playing with nothing. Just having a ball with just some water, dude. We don't even have any enrichment toys or anything in here for them just yet. In due time. In due time. So now, what I need to do is go through and just decorate everything in here with as much plants, as much foliage as I possibly can. I'm not even going to time-lapse it because it's going to take so long. The time-lapse is just going to look god-awful anyways. So, I will see you guys here in just a few minutes.
3 hours later.
Oakley dokley. Well, I think that I've reached a pretty good stopping point, at least for today. Just keep in mind, you guys, there is a bunch more decoration that needs to be added to this place. But for right now, I think I'll go ahead and take you guys on a little tour of of what we've got going on. I did end up using, I think, only just one blueprint structure, that being this hard shelter over here. We've got some bedding in there for them as well. Yo, y'all's is kind of loud. You guys are actually kind of loud. So as we sit right now, I think we have the perfect amount of space for just 2 small clawed otters, which isn't all that great, if I'm being honest. We definitely want, you know, maybe like 4 or 5, maybe even more than that. Actually, we should look at what their Zoopedia says. Their group size, excluding juveniles, of course, is up to 15 males and up to 15 females. Oh, and it sounds like the guests have finally caught on. They're like, wait a minute. I thought all we had at this zoo were these small little exhibits. Now we've got a monster exhibit out here for the small clawed otters. We've got a bunch of people lining up on the sides over here. Little bit of a frame droppage there, but that's all right. Dude, so stoked. Honestly, so stoked. So once again, there's a lot more decoration that needs to be added. I'm going to go ahead and pause before our guests just swarm the area. The remaining areas that still need quite a bit of attention include the front section here of our little observation deck, as well as underwater. I have little to no underwater vegetation whatsoever, and it looks awful when you're just like peering in from the side. Oh, also, I need like water filtration systems in place and a whole bunch of stuff, you guys. The list could go on and on and on. I am really, really happy about how this back area, like the keeper type area, came out. We've got a nice little gradual path leading up to that keeper gate. And then I also included a smaller like rock wall, kind of bringing what we did up in the front area around to the back as well. And then vegetation, of course, we're sticking with the same sort of swamp theme that we've got going on throughout this place. It's the wetlands, after all. Otters are most commonly found in rivers, I believe, or along river banks. So this vegetation seems kind of fitting. Anyways, I really, really love the Spanish moss. I think that is a fantastic decoration piece. But yeah, man, all in all, I would say we're looking pretty good here. Our 2 otters are absolutely loving it so far. Let's go ahead and check on their environment. 1 mow again. So they could actually use more coverage, which we're going to give them down underneath the water, of course. And then enrichment, they're sitting pretty. Hard shelter, terrain, everything is 100%. They are loving it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have absolutely no idea how long this episode's going to turn out to be, but hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, help support the dream by smashing that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.